Music. We're live. Couple minutes, guys, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. Just waiting for
get your teams
everybody
on.
to hop.
Where's Meek Mill?
Rubbing on that Italian leather. The convict jeans on. You ready?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Turn all that off. Ready to get started in about a minute.
All right.
Just waiting for everybody to get on. Looking for the dates for that April event somewhere. All right. All right, you ready to go, Fionn?
Yes, I'm good to go.
All righty, go ahead.
Okay, guys. Well, listen. As everyone knows, I was over in Orlando at the convention this weekend, and to say that it was life-changing would be a complete understatement. The purpose of tonight's leadership call is for us to really recap what me and Cody saw in person at this event that you guys didn't see, but we want to share the message with you guys of how big this actually is, and the biggest takeaways that we have from the event, and the biggest takeaways that I have from the event as well for everyone here in Ireland and the UK. So listen, I put a post on Facebook earlier on, and it's true, you just don't know what you don't know, do you? Like, that's the way things were for me a couple of months ago when I first came across Jeunesse, and I didn't really know at the time how serious I was going to be about this, or if it was, if it was the real deal, if it was the real deal. But, to be honest, I'm so proud, and I'm just going to say this, okay? I'm so proud of myself for making the decision to have the courage to launch with Jeunesse when no one else launched. Okay, literally no one else really saw it. So I'm proud of myself. Most importantly, I'm proud of every one of you for seeing it. I'm proud of Cody, Alex, who led the charge from the start. And to be honest, that's what leadership is all about, isn't it? It's about doing something that's going to empower other people. Leaders walk, managers talk. Leaders, make big decisions. They go through the fire. They do whatever it takes. And managers just have opinions. They just talk. To be honest, the biggest bit of advice that I will give you is that you have made the best business decision of your entire life. Okay, you have simply made the best business decision of your entire life, and do not let anyone, try to talk you out of it. Don't let anyone say anything to you about this, because this is absolutely huge. Listen, we got there on Friday, and we went to a 60s dinner thing. It was fun. But Saturday, things really kicked off. Randy Ray and Wendy Lewis, they went on stage. Randy was hilarious. Wendy was a bit more serious. But they were having fun up there for the simple reason that Randy knows that we're going to be number one. He just knows we're going to be number one. It's that simple, He doesn't have to be all serious. He knows we're going to be number one. And although he was laughing up there, You know what that man has done in the background, which we will never see, is inspiring. It's motivational. It's life-changing what these people have done. But my favorite speaker of the entire weekend was definitely Scott Lewis. You know, Scott Lewis, the Chief Visionary Officer, he reminds me of Mark Hughes, who started Herbalife years ago. You know, young guy, black hair, huge vision. And really, you know, Herbalife are hugely successful right now, but everyone that is successful in that company, they say it was because of Mark Hughes and what he taught and the leadership that he had. So Scott Lewis is just like Mark Hughes on steroids, to be completely honest. He's a young guy. He knows exactly what's going on. He's huge. He's like 6'5". He's healthy. But the passion that this guy has for where we are going with this is insane. If you could only feel the passion that he has, I know for a fact that this guy embraces adversity. You know, he's going to embrace adversity, and you have to be confident in the fact that nothing is going to touch this guy. Nothing. You know what I mean? I'm confident if we were to go through a burning building with Scott Lewis leading us, somehow we get out alive. That's really the message I got. But one word sums up this entire weekend. One word. Timing. Okay? Timing. That is literally the word that sums up this entire thing. One word about Jeunesse. What separates us from everyone else? What separates us from every other company? What separates us from every other distributor in the industry? Timing. We are in the right place, the right time, with the right people. Everyone says that in every company. It's not true. Okay? It's true here. It is true in Jeunesse. We are going to hit $1 billion this year. Okay, and that is barely anything to do with the US, barely anything to do with Europe, barely anything to do with South America, barely anything to do with the United Kingdom. That is just Asia, pretty much Asia. Now I know some of that sales has come from the US, but not much. So to say that you are in the right place, the right time with the right people would be an understatement, but you have to work your ass off. You have to work as hard as you possibly can and share this with every single person you know. Okay, share the products, share the vision, because vision is the most important thing. You don't need to know the comp plan. You don't need to know every single detail. You don't need to know every ingredient. Just don't. What you need to have is you need to have the vision of where this is going. Okay, Scott Lewis told the story of the first meeting they had 6 years ago when they had the reserve, and they were putting the reserve, which was in a bottle, I think at the time, into plastic cups and telling people to drink the cups. Okay, and saying we're going to be $1 billion brand. We are going to be $1 billion brand. And not many people saw the vision, but one lady did. Her name was Kim Wee, who's the top earner in Jeunesse right now. I'm not going to say her income; it's crazy. But my point is that people who are successful, like Scott, I'm talking hugely successful. Scott Lewis, Randy Ray, Wendy Lewis, Kim Wee, Alex Morton, Cody Barton, Derek Alexander, Luke Kish, all these guys, they saw what other people did not see. Okay, these are extraordinary people, and they could see what others could not. Okay, I can see what others can't. This is already done. In my eyes, we are already the #1 team in Europe. There is no question about that. Okay, one thing I've learned from the weekend was all of these top earners, they don't have anything we don't have. Well, they have one thing we don't have. Okay, a sickening work ethic. That's all they have. Okay, they have the skills. Okay, they've worked themselves like we do. Okay, I'm not saying you don't have to work on yourself. Of course you do. But my point is that they worked and they worked and they worked and they worked. And they shared the products, shared the products, shared the products, shared the products, shared the business, shared the business, shared the business. And they had the vision. And that is why they are up on that stage. Remember, without pressure, there will be no diamonds. Okay, without pressure, there will be no diamonds. Jeunesse have 150 diamonds. Okay, which is huge, which is absolutely insane. Okay, now ask yourself this: what do you want to do? What do you want to do with this? Because I know I put that status on Facebook, and I'm talking to the group out there, people who are watching from afar, saying, oh, let's see if this dude falls on his face. I'm not going to. We're not going to. Okay, we're going to the top. It's that simple. And if you don't believe in yourself yet, take some of my belief and use it. Take some of Cody's belief and use it. This is going to be life-changing. To say that this company are really doing everything they can possibly do to help us. Mark Patterson was one of my favorite speakers, the chief marketing officer. The energy drinks are insane. They just stand out. The brand new website with a compensation plan on the website. I just saw it there. I didn't even know it was there. Okay? I can honestly say, if you don't make it in Jeunesse, and I say this to everyone, write this down. If I don't make it in Jeunesse, I will not make it. Okay? It's that simple. Okay? Cody's laughing. If I don't make it in Jeunesse, I will not make it. It is that simple. Okay? And I know I put that status on Facebook saying, you have two choices. Two choices. You're going to look back in 5 or 10 years' time, and you're going to say, do you see that global giant? That instantly ages stuff is everywhere. Their new products is everywhere. Those energy drinks are everywhere. I wonder who started that. Who started that movement? Who started it? And you have two choices. You're either going to look back, and you're going to say, oh yeah, look at that company. They're so successful. They're so successful. Look at the sales, what they do. Look what they do. Look how many millionaires they've created. Look how many six-figure earners they've created. Look how many people they've helped earn an additional income. Look how many people, most importantly, have had health benefits with the product, which is to me most important than anything. That's why, honestly, myself, I don't think I could ever do a service-based company. I know it's going completely off track right now, but I'm saying that we have health products that people genuinely want, which taste amazing, which are amazing for your body, and there is no reason why your family should not consume these products. Okay? Get them as your customers, get them on the products. It's going to be healthy for them. Okay? And I would much rather my family using products that I believe in, that I know come from the best sources in the world, which gives me more than money will ever give me, to be completely honest. But sorry, I kind of went off track. So you have two choices. You're going to look back and say, yeah, look, I was there. I actually signed up to that thing. I signed up to that thing a couple of years ago. Yeah, Jeunesse, yeah, I was there. I was there in the first couple of leadership calls. Yeah, we were doing the rah-rah. We were talking about all this stuff, and they were talking about this vision, and, and I did nothing. I did nothing. I just watched, and I admired these guys, and I thought they were inspiring, and I just watched, and I just didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. So I don't really own any of that market share. I don't own any of it. Okay, that's choice number one. Now, I don't recommend that one at all by any means. Second option, you're going to look back in 5 or 10 years' time, and people are going to look at you and they're going to say, did you ever hear about that Jeunesse thing? Yeah. No, I heard about it. Yeah. I wonder who started that thing off. I say they make a fortune. And you're going to look back and say, yeah, I wonder who they were. I wonder who started that off. So you're going to look back and say, look at that global giant. Look what these people have done. And you know what the best thing is? We built it. We built it. The choice is yours. Timing is the word that sums up this entire weekend. I am pumped. I'm going to share this with everyone. And I want every one of you to take this business that bit more serious. I know you, even if you're new to the business, take it that bit more serious. You are blessed to have the tools that you have. And most importantly, you are blessed to have the leadership that we have. The leadership. We are going to be the #1 team in the #1 company in the #1 industry. Okay, how much of that market share do you want? That is the only question. You have to commit, you have to believe in yourself, and you have to work hard. Okay, you can say affirmations all you want. You can say, I am a 6-figure earner. You can say all that, that stuff is important, but it's not going to work unless you work. Nothing works unless you work. Unless you get out there and you share this, and you put your chest out, say, you know what, I'm in Jeunesse Global. I am in Jeunesse Global. And if you don't know about it yet, you're going to know. If one Jeunesse product isn't in your house yet, it's going to be. It is going to be in your house. Okay? #1 recruiting tip, belief. If you're not sure, they're not sure. I am 1000% sure. No one can say anything to me or Cody or Alex or Derek or Luke Kish or Rob or Lance that's going to sway us. Nothing. Zero. Okay? And did you ever wonder why these guys are the top recruiters? Did you ever wonder why these guys are the top business builders, the top income earners? There is no secret. It's hard work, belief. You have to know where you're going. And if you wouldn't follow you, why would someone else follow you? I'm not sure if I'm going to get this wrong, but the leader of one, the leader of many. If you can't lead one, you can't lead any. Okay? It is so true. Without vision, the people perish. We have vision. We're committed. We're going to be number one. I'm going to be number one. Cody's going to be number one. You have to make a decision for yourself what you're going to be. So without further ado, I'm going to give it over to Cody, and he's going to finish it off and go through some stuff.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Stealing all my nuggets, man. All right, guys. So feeling, covered a lot of the stuff. Convention was amazing. One thing that I wanted to start off by talking about is the next major event in Europe. We're going to be building, this business is built from event to event. So the next major event, I don't have the exact dates of it, but is April, and it's in Rome, Italy. So the next major event, jot it down, Rome, Italy is where the next major event is going to be, as far as the European market goes. So this is the big thing to understand. Big events like that, big events like conventions, different things like that is what gets you paid. The highest paid thing you could do in your business is promoting the products, promoting the business, promoting events, promoting calls, right? So you notice how everything has a trend of promoting, getting people to know about it, promote the events, promoting calls, promoting everything. And that's what is the highest paid skill in network marketing, is promoting. So we want to promote April, where we're going to be in Rome, Italy. So here's the thing. This is something that was told to me by Eric Worre, the network marketing, professional that teaches, all over the world, flies around the world, training different companies, different teams, different people for, helping people create massive incomes. He says this: for every one person that you have at a major event like April in Rome, it will add $1,000 annually to your income the following year. So think about this. If you want to make $20,000 next year, get 20 people to Rome and Italy. If you want to make $50,000 next year, get 50 people to Rome and Italy. You want to make 100 grand. Simple, 100 people there. The numbers have added up exactly within a couple $1,000s every time I've been to convention. Based on how many people I had there, determined every time how much income I made that year. There is no secret. It's down to an exact science of how this works. So I want you all to understand that that is true. So a great goal to have is, instead of, I want to get this many people started, how many people are you going to get to the next major event in your business? On your left team, on your right team, how many of your team are going to go to that next event in Rome, Italy? That will determine the future of your business. So I always, heavily promote that, because conventions change lives. Why? Because belief is what changes everything. Once people believe something, nothing can change their belief. There once was a strong belief in the world that the world was flat. Everybody believed it. People thought you were crazy if you were, someone's like, the world's round. They literally thought you were mentally not there if you didn't believe that the world was flat. So what I want you to understand is belief is everything. And now the belief is the world is round. So people understand that it's just a fact. It's 100% fact. So when you get to that point about your business, that I am 100% like belief level of, the world is round, as you're like, I know that I'm going to be successful in this business for yourself, for your family. That's when you'll have success in this business. That's what you have to understand, is that when you have that belief. Because this is the thing, if you are not sure, your guests will not be sure. So if you're inviting people and they're not showing up and you're not sure about the business, they're not going to be sure. They don't feel confident. When you have conviction, when you have confidence, when you have excitement in your voice, and you're just like, where you're going, you're casting the vision for what you're going to do. You don't have to have results yet. But what you have to have is a belief and a certain level of conviction that you're going to be successful. If you go and when you're at events, you're telling somebody what's going to happen. Project 1000, look what we're about to do. People get more excited about what you're about to do than what you've already done. So you don't need to be this crazy success story. you got to cast your vision for the future and what you're about to do. That's what you have to see. And you have to, and each time you'll see further and further as you build your belief, and you're going to be able to, you know, spread a wider vision, cast a wider vision, and people are going to follow you. People don't follow people that don't know where they're going. If you aren't certain, you have to get certain. And you can get certain by being around the business. Be around the business. It's going to heighten your belief level. It's going to get you excited. It's going to raise your lid of leadership and your belief in yourself. And you're going to feel confident. You're going to feel good. The more you feel good, the better you're going to do. That's the thing. So going into a couple different things here, guys, is a lot of the business really just comes, you know, until a leader commits, a hesitancy lingers. Without commitment, there's not a lot of commitment, and, you know, a lot of success. I thought this was really funny. It is one of the speakers at convention said this: if you aren't 100% committed, you're not going to have massive, amazing results. And this is the example, the analogy that he shared. He's like, you know, what if you go up, if you're married or you're in a relationship and you're like, you know, honey, I'm 85% committed to you. Isn't that great? Like I'm 85% committed to being with you. Think about that. Like, that's just, you would never say that. You're 100% committed. So for this to really happen, you have to be 100% committed. Commitment is doing something you said you were going to do long after the feeling that you said that statement in has left you. So it's you know, it's great, you can go get excited, but it's just continuously doing the things towards what you said you were going to do, instead of, you know, getting excited, doing stuff for a week, and then you know, you're not excited and you're not committed. So you have to be really committed. So see, so that's the biggest thing for a lot of you guys as you're new, is you have to sell your commitment before you could, you know, you don't want to sell hype. Like, you don't want to be like, yeah, you're going to make 10 grand a month or 5 grand a month right away, like get rich quick. Like, don't do that. You have to sell your commitment. And if people feel confident in you, they're going to follow you. They're going to be like, you know what? I'm going to follow Trish. I'm going to follow Margaret. You know what? I'm going to follow Fiona. I'm going to follow Tony. You know, I'm going to follow Alan, because they believe in you and what you're going to do. Even if you haven't done anything yet, you could do this. This is what I did when I started. I had made no money. I was working at McDonald's, but I told people what we were going to do. I said, wouldn't it be great? You know what's going to be awesome is when we have thousands of young people, you know, middle-aged, older people, earning additional income. When isn't it, it's going to be exciting. Like, that's what we're going to do with this. That's where we're going with this business. And people believed in it. You have to share your belief for other people to believe in you. You can't be like, yeah, you know, I'm trying this thing out, and, you know, just kind of seeing where it goes, and, you know, try and make some money, and, you know, just kind of see what happens. Someone going to follow that attitude? No. And you could still have a high belief level on a part-time basis with the business, because you're constantly thinking about your vision. What I used to do when I worked at McDonald's, I worked through the drive-thru. So I would sit there. When I'd have breaks, I'd be staring out the window. I'd be staring out the drive-thru window, and I'd be thinking, you know, it's going to be amazing when I'm not here anymore. You know how great it's going to be when I could be outside and be free. That's what you have to have that, you know, that belief, that feeling, like that excitement for the future. Live in the future mentally, in the sense of where you're going. You know, live in the present with your actions, but live in the future mentally, of understanding, like, wow, that you know, it's already done. You already know it's going to happen. When I joined the business, I knew I was going to not have to work again, and then I said it, and then it happened. So it's like you put out your goals in front of you, and it'll happen. So one thing I want to recommend to have you guys do is write down in specifics what it is that you want. from this business? Like what? Like I'm gonna give you guys. I'm gonna end on this because I want you guys. I want this to be the last thing you're thinking about. But really quick, I have one more thing I just remembered Tony wanted me to talk about before I go into that. But so of the launch calls, guys, if you haven't booked a launch call and you're new, you haven't done a launch call, or if you have somebody in your team that you've enrolled or somebody that you've enrolled that they've enrolled that hasn't booked their own personal launch call yet, let's get that call booked as soon as possible. We want to make sure that's happening most of the time in the first 48 hours for every new person. And then also having home events. Home events are the bread and butter of the business. Home events are what are going to build your customer base and build more of a distributor base. The calls are great because it's a great tool for you to, get people on that you can't meet with in person. But the home events are something, once the business is in your home, that's when the belief level will start to raise. You have a few guests come over, you get them to sample product, you have a presentation, with somebody upline of you helping you with that presentation for your first few, and help you start building your customer and your distributor base. Customers make your business concrete. Customers you never have to do a conference call with. Customers aren't listening to these calls. They don't have to be motivated or excited. They just order their product and you get your volume for your customers. So make sure if you haven't had your launch calls set up, get them set up. If you haven't done a home event yet, do the home events. And what I was just talking about, what I wanted to end on is this. So finishing up this call, hope you guys have been taking notes. If not, this will be posted. The same link will be available on YouTube to re-listen to this call. Is I want you guys to write down without any barrier of if it's possible or not. I want you guys to write down if you just came into all the money that you needed for every single one of your goals, what you would do. See, most people don't do this. Most people, this takes time. It takes time to learn to dream again and learn to think big and to visualize things that you want. Most people, when they do this for the first time, they usually only can think of a few things, unless you're somebody that's been a dreamer for a while. So I want you guys to take some time after this call, after we finish this up, and write down the things that you want. So, for example, I wrote down, so on your piece of paper, you could start now. Write down if you came into all the money in the world and money wasn't an object, what would you do first? Would you pay off your debt? Would you pay off your family's debt? Would you buy a bigger house? Would you move to another country? Would you move to another county? Where would you go on vacation? What kind of car would you drive? Who would you, be, connected with? What would your friendships look like? What would you do on a day-to-day basis? And be specific. I wrote down the cars. Exactly the ones. I have the colors and everything. So I just for one of them to start, I put down matte black on black Lamborghini Aventador 2015. That was one of the cars. I have like 8 different cars on here, but that's one of them. And then I had, pay off all of my parents' debt, pay off my grandparents' home, help my family out with, paying for, health treatment, stuff like that. Donate to my old high school, help them, create a life skills class, like just different things that are important to me. Travel to Bora Bora, all these different things, like specifics. Don't write, I'll travel, I'll get a new car, I'll get a, new house. Like what color of the car, what's the interior like? Visualize, like think about it. I want you guys to think about this. Write these things down. This is the first step to manifesting things that you want into your life. I'm going to tell you guys a quick story of when I first did this. When I first started in the industry, well, I did it subconsciously without even thinking about it, getting out of my job, but I would visualize every day not working there. I'd visualize having freedom more so. The thing that I actively focused and visualized was getting a new car, a specific car. Back in 2011, I visualized getting at that time, a brand new 2011 BMW 328i white with leather and with the leather interior. So that's what I would visualize. And what I did is I went and test drove the car before I could even afford it, not even close to affording it. I was still at McDonald's. So I went and test drove the car. And then what I did was I know test driving it made it real. I felt what it would feel like to have that car. And it's really, you don't want the car, you want the feeling associated with that thing. So if you associate that feeling with when you actually drove the car or you went into that home or whatever, and you captured the feeling, you could remember it. It becomes a memory, and it becomes something that you could visualize actively over and over again. So I went and drove the car. I knew what it felt like when I couldn't afford it. Fast forward a year, almost a year later, I bought the car. 2011, white exterior, leather interior, beige interior, everything I wanted on the package, pretty much the same car I test drove. Bought the car from when I had pictures of it just up on my wall. I just had pictures of that car when I couldn't afford it, but I thought about it and I visualized it. So I want you guys to, as we close this up, start writing down the things that you want without a limit. Like, don't write, if your dream car isn't a 2006 Honda Civic, don't write that because you think that's realistic. Write what you want. If money didn't matter, write what it is down that you want. And I want you to think about it. Take some time. It's going to feel weird because you're going to be like, that's not possible. Or if you've never done this before, you're going to, that's not possible. I can't do that. Don't be realistic. Realistic is for average people. Mediocre, being realistic leads to the road of mediocrity. We aren't trying to do that. We're trying to live great lives here. We're trying to live in abundance here. So take some time, write down what you want your life to look like. If money wasn't an issue, write down the cars, the homes, what the charities you'd give to, the charities you'd start, what you do for your family, what you do for your friends, what your normal day would look like if money didn't matter. Where would you travel? Who would you travel with? What would you invest in? Whatever that is for you. So I want to end on that. I want you guys to do that now. Talk to you guys soon. Get your calls scheduled up. Write this down. Let's have an amazing month and a half left in the end of the year and really crush it. I believe in every one of you. If you need help, contact me. Let's make it happen. Talk to you guys soon.